I want to talk about the environmental impact of demolition and construction. Now, before you yawn or yell, "Oh Christ, not again," I want to talk about an aspect of the road to zero that, as far as I can tell, no one else is talking about. So, after yesterday's show, I drove over to see my daughter, who lives just a few miles away from here in Dorking. There's a pub in Dorking called the Watermill Inn. I went there quite a few times actually back in my drinking days. That pub is currently undergoing a refit, and I drove past it yesterday. Actually, I drove past it twice because I couldn't actually believe what my eyes were seeing the first time. The Watermill Inn is not a big pub, so we're not talking about a major construction project here. In fact, in terms of plant, there was a mini excavator sat idle in what used to be the overflow car park, and there was an access platform that was being used by a painter applying an absolutely hideous shade of pink to the building's exterior. My guess is that within the pub there was probably a few more painters and decorators, maybe a plasterer or two. And yet the main car park of the currently unoccupied pub was rammed with cars. It was so full, in fact, that I made a point of driving back to the next roundabout and going back to take a closer look. There were 14 cars in the car park, and while I didn't study the matter too hard, I would guess that not one of them was electric or even a hybrid. Back in my day, long before myself and alcohol went our separate ways over artistic differences, alcohol wanted to kill me and I didn't want to die. The car park at the Watermill Inn didn't have 14 cars in it on a busy Saturday night. I know that many firms encourage car and vehicle sharing to minimize fuel costs, and car sharing is all well and good within a single company. But demolition and construction sites are rarely occupied by a single company or by a single discipline. My guess is that the Watermill Inn might currently have painters, decorators, plasters, glaziers, electricians, and maybe even plumbers as well, all working side by side, all of them from different companies. And while all of those individual companies and disciplines might have arrived together in one or two vehicles, by the time all those disciplines had arrived, the pub car park was full to bursting. Now, I say that not because of a lack of car park space. As I said, the pub was closed and I don't drink. But think about that in terms of carbon emissions from all those vehicles. As an industry, we're hurtling down the road towards greater emissions control with the advent of electric, biofuel, HVO, and hydrogen fueled equipment. But as long as the operators of those machines and those that work alongside them are arriving in petrol or diesel powered vehicles, we will continue to fall a long way short of our environmental ambitions.